So anyway, I don't know where the last one left off. Had some technical difficulties and didn't even realize that it was no longer live. And so I guess we'll just kind of start somewhere because somewhere's better than nowhere. Well, currently, as I understand it, there is an there was a point in time which you may have been allowed to or been granted. See, I'm like, hold on, I'm like half devoted to this because this is trying to figure some stuff out right here. Really, just like caused me to have to reel my momentum back in. So, man, politics. Found a way to get talking about it, and then I came to write something down so I didn't forget. Oh, yeah, let me write that down so I don't forget. So I guess I'll actually start with that. I'll start with this idea right here. And then let's see, where is it? This. Stop, buddy. Please don't. All right, so I did want to bring up the fact that if you're ever in a new relationship with somebody, and there's that stage in which it's like yes, no, about things that you should or shouldn't do and things like that, right? So you're not 100% sure, so you have to ask. But then if you ask and you get a no, then it does something to your confidence. It just makes it just pretty much makes you feel bad that someone has told you, hey, no, the behavior you're exhibiting is negative, right? Because you hear a no from someone. And so I found that I was thinking about this a couple days ago. Instead of you saying no to your partner, say maybe. It's understood as a no, but say maybe and see what that does, because your confidence doesn't like the no part of things. It's like you should always say no if no is a no, definitely. But I'm saying if your partner is asking you, hey, can I put my stuff over here on this shelf? Because first time you, I don't know, stayed over or something, right? Maybe. It's like, all right, where do you think I should put it? Maybe put it over there. You know what I'm saying? Instead of no, because no, no, there's no nice way to say no like that when it's like they mean no ill intent or harm, and then they're like, hey, can I put my stuff right here? Instead of just asking, hey, where can I put it or whatever, it's like, hey, can I put it here or can I put it here? And it's like maybe, and then it's like yes, or then it's no, or whatever. But if you say yes and maybe, then things like things that are oral traditions amongst men and women that have been going on for many years, specifically to those groups of people, in those areas or what have you. Being in a situation like that with a significant other that's new, you're new with, neither of you know the entire background of each other. So then by having a system in place to where the confidence of you both can be check that, this is how I imagine it. It's like yes, okay, so your confidence, yes, your confidence goes up. No is like doom, and then yes is like doom, no, doom. So it keeps segueing down, right? But if it's like yes, and it's like maybe, it's like I can ride out a maybe, and then it's like yes, maybe, you ride out a maybe, yes, and then it keeps continuing to grow as in confidence, and so there's no lack in trust and faith being built, and they won't feel like you're wronging them by telling them essentially, nah, but in a nice way, like maybe, because no, definitely not today, but hey, maybe sometime or what have you. But it just, the way that it gets interpreted by a person is just, it's so much better because they don't feel attacked with a no. Like most of the time, it's like if your car is falling off a cliff, you're gonna be like, no. That's a word you use for like serious things. So things with your significant other shouldn't involve no necessarily. You know what I mean? When it comes to like you going back and forth with each other, like, would you like to eat over here? Maybe. Over here? Maybe. Over here? Maybe. Here? Yeah. And then it'll be easier for you to make a choice because you never said no to those other places. So if you get through them all and you're like, you know what, I am feeling like that. It's like, good thing it was a maybe. Because it wasn't a no, it leaves it open. It's just like, question was asked, box not checked, we'll get to it again if we need to. But it was already asked, so it's understood. Right? And especially when it comes to things that are more intimate in nature, that is the best thing you could do for someone else's, like, the trust value of the relationship toward each other. Because if you're doing something they don't want done and then they say maybe, it's like, okay, and then you just change to something else. But if they say no, it's like, oh damn, why did I even do that? Why did I even do that? And you start like going off on yourself. But it maybe is like, okay, try something else, try something else. You know, maybe, until you get a yes, and it's like, I knew I'd find it. Whatever, right? Good. That's what it needs to be. Because the human psyche is not at a point yet in which it can take into account the types of values our words even have. Like the value of a no and the value of a yes aren't the same. The value of a no is like this. It can do this much. Typically a no is like negative. So, and then a yes is like, well, it really just depends on what it is. So it's like gets multiplied by whatever the question or whatever being asked is. It's like, hey, can I sit here? Yes. Okay, that's nothing. Like, hey, can I come over? Yes. Holy shit. And so, but a no is always like, starts here. Like, hey, can I sit here? No. Still here. Hey, can I come over? No. That type of shit. So it carries weight with it. Whether it's negative or positive, because really it could be like, do you want me to leave? No. Gives you that much, right? Gives you that much. But the situation and the question determines whether or not it's negative or positive. And so that's better for relationships to use no for serious situations. Like, man, car about to run over your kid or your dog. It's like, no, you Superman over there and Superwoman over there, and in a flash of an eye, right? Good. But maybe is saved for, or no is saved for that, or hopefully never saved for that, never used really. And trust is built more easily, more open, because there was never any, because a no feels like a jest or a jab, like a stab, like a no, and it just, it's like, ow, ow, ow. But maybe it's like, fuck around and find out, and so it's better that way. It's more supportive of a positive relationship because, well, at this point I'm already beating the dead horse. I actually have a joke for that. I'm not gonna get to it right now. But I do want to make sure that I get actually back to this. So, okay, so indigenous peoples, 1814. Yeah. So indigenous peoples in this land on this side of the planet were here first. Took everything from them, gave them hardly nothing. After we took out almost all of them. If reparations are given for any type of slavery, I'm ill-informed. I don't watch the news. If it's wrong, let me know. If it ain't, this is just a documentary for me to know to what to say. If I need to go back over it for whatever reason, or just for me to say it, to feel as though I'm talking to someone so I can get the idea, put it on the plate, check it out. If it looks good, serve it up. If it's not, get back in the kitchen. So whenever you have, so if there are any like reparations given for any type of slavery, they have 50% of it needs to. I don't. It doesn't matter the amount. 50% of it would need to immediately go to. And I don't. Even if it ended up being $100,000 billion, half of it would immediately go to the. Even if though it is a smaller group of indigenous peoples, it would still go to them because they had like all the way to the bottom tiptoe to the top was beautiful, lovely, lavish, wonderful. No trash bins. Even civilized folks got trash bins in national parks. How? Why? There's more food in a national park than McDonald's. You could eat, you could drink, you could sleep, you could stay, you could live. You could eat, you could pray, you could love, you could laugh. You could leave, but you wouldn't want to if you were living right. You know, it's kind of like the way the place was before this place became what we made it. By wanting all the things that we want for whatever reasons we think are okay for to want them. Because it's like, how many trash bags could you possibly need to throw away? Because it's like 340 million Americans, so every five is a family. So then you got 7 million. You got 7 million Americans, 7 million bags of trash being thrown away once a week. So that's 52 times 7. So 5 times 7 is 35. That's 350 million trash bags thrown away a year, full of trash with shit that don't even matter, like boxes and bags and plastics and stickers and son of a just. How many times you got to go to IKEA before you realize that shit sucks? I got a stick I found in the woods one day. Ain't very big, probably about like that. No, I probably get one like that, about that same type of wood. Go in IKEA and break everything, not even leave a scratch on the stick. Promise you that. Shit, I couldn't even break the damn thing I was trying to break it. I go into IKEA. It's done for. I just break all the furniture with it. It's terrible. That it's a tree branch, like a little tree branch like this. You talking about like a shelf with like, yeah, I'll break that sucker down. Because it's particle board. It's shit. It's trash. It's junk. It ain't worth the toilet paper it could have been made into to wipe my ass with. I don't use dry paper. I use wet wipes. But, you know, I try to be thoughtful towards the fact that my mama ain't never wipe up no mess with no dry rag. Ever. Unless it was a wet mess. That's a little different. But still came back to make sure it was cleanest. Right? So, any reparations, 50% goes to those indigenous to these lands originally. Or the descendants thereof. Actually, I'm not even going to get into like specifics about that. That just needs to be voiced. So then, should reparations happen? Shit, why not? Like, the government already printing money like it ain't nothing. So, shit, fucking... Everybody trying to get some money. Hey, but I had an idea for a lotto game. Every $1 million that's put into the game is a prize payout for someone. So, it's like, it's a lotto, but for every million, there's a winner. No matter what. So, if you had like $2 billion in there, that'd be 2,000 millionaires in a day. Actually, it'd be less because the prize payout would be exactly to the penny amount what you would need, like 1.36 or 1.34 million, 1,340,000. So you take home $1 million. Like, we ain't playing the dumb shit. Taxes are on us. You know, like, if you're gonna play the game and you're gonna benefit from it, then you're gonna benefit what we said you're gonna get from it, because we're not gonna do that to you and then make you feel like a dummy when you get home with $400,000. You're like, I thought I had $1 million. You know, and then people are asking you, where'd your $1 million? I only got 400,000. I can't even stand to spend it. Weren't you broke yesterday? Yeah, but I'm broke now. This shit's real. But if you had $1 million, you'd be like, shit. But every $1 million could be, I don't know how to get in, I don't know none of that. But that's a better idea than, like, let's give one person $2 billion so they go buy a Maserati, they buy a jet plane, they buy Versace, they buy all this stuff that goes right back into the pockets of the people that didn't even put the money in the first place. Let me tell you the financial condition of the United States. Okay, so check this out. You got 10 people walk into a pizza shop order one pizza. And they cut it up, 10 slices. They're like, ooh, man, bring it, set it on the table here. There you go. There's your pizza. Server walks off. Thank you. Can I get a refill? All right, we're about to dig in. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Excuse me, sir. You know the rules. Takes 2/3 of the pizza and a little bit more, walks off with it, and you don't see them forever. You don't even know them, but you already know that's the real deal. 9 of y'all left with what's left. They took 2/3 of it, mind you, and a little bit more, somebody else's slice. So they're not going to want that, but you ain't want that. But so whoever's going to get a slice, sure as hell ain't going to want the small one. That's 9 of y'all. There were 10 slices of pizza when it started. That's how much the 10%, the 10% have per the net worth of America. And guess who's loaning you all that money? Guess who's got them interest rates like that? If you pay for your house and you pay it off and you were never a bad loanee, like loan taker, all that interest you paid on that bad interest rate should be given back. Because technically, if you think about it, if you would have been a good interest rate, you'd have got it like what? 2.5? You paid like 6, 7, damn near 8. If you never missed a payment, or even if it was late, if you made all the payments with no hiccups, no like late fees type, sending the constable out or nothing, all that money you paid over in that bad tax rate, because it would just show, well, you paid over because you are a risk. If you paid it off, you wasn't. You proved it. So guess what? Cha-ching! Here you go. Thank you for paying that off. We really appreciate it. You weren't a bad creditor, and that lump sum of money is definitely going to get you to places that you wanted to be that you couldn't save for yourself, and we kept it safe for you because we care. Because why in the hell would we live in the same place that you do and not care about you? Thank you for not being a bad loan taker. We'll be here next time if you need us. That's cars, houses, loans, anything that involves a credit score. It's like if I pay it off, I get that money back, right? Like you'll drop me down to like 2%. Sure, yeah, so we'll do that. And then you walk around and do it because you're good like that, but you don't look like it. And then you do, and then what? They're like, damn, he got us. Here's your check, sir. A deal's a deal. That should be standard in every contract. And if you sign in a contract without it, if we all just said that should be in there, then guess what they're going to start putting in there? Because they can't get none of our money if it ain't in there. Because we agree. That's how American people work. That's how we the people works. If all people could agree, I would like that money back. Damn, that's a lot of money. Bought a house. $100,000 house. Could you imagine getting that much percentage back on a $150,000, $200,000 house? But you have to pay it off in full. None of that, oh, we'll give you that money, you can pay it off early. Nope, you pay it off 100%. The day of, and then we'll give it to you, check, cash, charge, wire transfer, Zelle, Cash App. Let me keep it a little bit. No. So look, it would be better like that. Like that's putting, okay, because they say you want to have the bank wants to have an interest in giving you the money, so they charge you interest, right? What's to keep you having an interest in it? What if you're like $10,000 out, but you know you're about to get 15 grand for paying it off? Damn, I don't like this house. I hate staying here. I've been here too damn long. I'm gonna pay that shit off. I'm gonna get that 15 grand. Impossible. Anyways, look, you got the average American making $50,000, right? Or let's just say somebody making $50,000 a year, because I know how it is. $50,000 a year. From the time you're, let's see, from the time you're born to the time you're 1,876,000, like 313 years old, is how long it would take you to make that much money, making $50,000 a year. Do you know how many hours, or how many days rather, you live in a lifetime? You live, so if you live to be 70 from the day you're born, you live 25,550 days. From the day you're born to the day you're 70 years old, you would have lived as 365 no leap years. 25,550 days. That's it. 70 years, 25,000 days. That's it. Say 26,000. You know, because you forgot it was your birthday, and you thought you was 69, but you was really 70, so now you're 71 or something. You know. So imagine that. 1.87639 hours. I mean years. Yeah, wait. No, yeah, years. Wait. Was it a million hours? No, it was 1.8 million years to make $94 billion. That's what Apple took home. Actually, it was like 98 they took home. But we're just going 94 billion, not 98. How much could 4 billion actually matter? So, if it takes one person, actually, let me get my calculator out here. If it takes one person, calculator. If it takes one person, all right. So what we got here? We got 94 billion. Shit, I ain't even do all that. It was 1.8, and we'll just leave it at that. How long does it take a person to make 1.8 million? I know it's 1.8, so it's 94 billion, so it's 94 billion, so that's how many years? Yeah, it's just 1.8 million years. It take you almost 2 million years to make $94 billion, making $50,000 a year. You know how good of a job you have to make 50 grand a year? You gotta be making like between 15 and 20 an hour. Like, actually, yeah, you gotta be making a good bit of money working 40 hours. If you're getting overtime, that's a little bit different, but 1.8 million years to make 94 billion, one person. You know how many families, like birthday parties, funerals, births, doctor's visits, sicknesses, just needed comfort because the weather or how they felt or the way their life was going or their boyfriend slash girlfriend broke up with them and they didn't see it coming. You had to go to work, or all the times you got home they was asleep and you're like, this fucking job sucks. Because they sleep, they wake up, you're like, fuck, leave me alone, I'm trying to sleep, I gotta go to work. And you feel bad when you wake up because you realize when you get home they're gonna be asleep. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you work for somebody, look, how you work for somebody make millions of dollars, billions of dollars, and they're allowed to, what? If your child got sick with, so actually this dude I used to work with, so his name's Bobby. He's from out of state. He lives here now. Anyway, so Bobby's daughter Sarah had type 1 diabetes, was living with the moms. She got caught with crack, then had already sold the food stamp card, the insurance card, the birth certificate and stuff like that, like the actual papers and stuff, just all of it for rock. Got caught, took the child to him. The police did. God bless that man or woman, whoever that was. I didn't actually get those details. So now he's sitting there. This man's living with his mom, taking care of his mom. So he's like, you know how that goes. Taking care of his mom's. Dad's already passed away. Ain't got no brothers, nothing like that. Type 1 diabetic. Has to buy insulin because she ain't got none. Can't afford it. Already like stretching to make ends meet because nobody ever has enough money trying to live life right. And especially he paying child support. Then they still gonna take it out of his pocket, even though he got the baby, can't prove the baby his, can't get insurance, can't buy the insulin, ain't got money, leaving the child with his elder mother, and she needs somebody to take care of her. Then he gets home and she's asleep, and then he's talking about when he walks in the door, he looks at her and his heart drops because he thinks she stopped breathing until her stomach moved, and that's like every day because he's trying to put in overtime because the insulin is like what, $6 to make. And he's paying like $100 a vial? Are you serious? You know the people he's working for? Guess how much they make every year? Net. Billions. Damn near $100 billion last year. $94 billion. 1.8 million years out of one person's life they took. Ain't no cap on capitalism. If we put a cap on capitalism, hey, this is the amount you can make. Any more than that is going to somebody else's plate. Going to cure the illnesses that exist. Going to something else. Going to medicine for kids. Food for kids. I don't care if it's food and medicine. And actually, I would prefer it to be food, medicine, water for kids in other countries. Because you can't say you care about kids and don't care about kids and you talking about they immigrants. And you ignorant. Shit. Everybody, somebody child, man. Ooh. I know my good homie's mama slapped the shit out of you to hear you say something like that. I just don't get it. But we allow it though. It's like, shit, I don't give a fuck about that. I'ma just allow it. You know, I'm just gonna pretend like it don't exist. Shit, I'ma just go to sleep on it. Like, all right, cool. Well, child sex trafficking still exists. Ain't nobody talking about it. If everybody talked about it, it'd be in the news. If it was in the news, guess what? It would be old news. You know why? There's 27 million militants, soldiers across the world, 195 countries. Everywhere they need to be. Drones, tanks, water skid motor vehicles with the wheels and the fins, subs. If it came down to it, nukes, spies. People that are so quiet you wouldn't even know you was dead, and you'd be like walking through heaven or hell, and you'd be like, damn, how long have I been here? I didn't even know I was dead. What the hell happened? I've been walking by all these dead folks like it's Christmas or something. And by this time, shit, they already a child. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the way they operate. Now you're telling me you're an adult, right? So if anybody besides me is watching this, because this is a docu-series for me to anyway, if you're an adult, right? How many adults does it take to realize that there are people out there that like being in the military, are already being paid to be in the military, get paid the same wages for being in the military, doing something overseas, here, there, sweeping, mopping, cleaning, cooking, sleeping, nothing, get paid the same. And you're telling me, hey, there's kids over there being sold into slavery and sex traffic. We need you to go get them. You're gonna like team up with other nations in their military, and you're gonna go save them. Fucking plane should already be gassed up and fucking going. I'll catch it in a rush as it's moving before it takes off. That ain't something you would have to ask somebody like that. They'd be gone in a heartbeat. They do the shit for the country. Imagine doing it for the kids. Shit. They'd be home before dinner that night. Real quick. 27 million. Do you know 27 million highly trained military personnel with everything, every dollar at their disposal, mind you, because we do know that countries support their militaries. Drones, satellites even. Like, I'm talking about drones you can't hear, you have no idea. Up in Washington, D.C., get on the horn with, General Patton or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if we're going to make a world war, make it against some shit like that. Child slavery. Every 2 minutes, one child sold. Every 2 minutes, one child is sold. Every single day. You an adult? Why ain't you telling somebody to... If everybody's talking about it, it's in the news. I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is. I seen some dumb shit on the news. I seen cool shit on the news. I seen some... But if it's on the news, what's the government gonna do? Like, oh shit, yes, General Patton. We the people are quite riled, and they want something done about it. So we're just waiting on your orders, Mr. President. Other countries, what they gonna do? Are you with us or are you complicit? Like, why are we fighting over whose land or who can piss the furthest? This ain't no pissing contest. I ain't shitting you. You ain't gonna go over there and mess nothing up. But God forbid somebody go over there from over here, or anybody that has power like that as a militant and does something stupid to some civilian. Don't care who they are. They could have deserved it. Wouldn't give a shit. Send them my way. Send them my way. I rip their arm off and beat them to death with it. But just once for, like 23 hours a day, you gotta let them like feel like they're gonna survive for at least 5 minutes every 4 hours or something. Because you don't force people to do things. You don't put your hands on other people. You don't do dumb shit like that. Technically, this is what it should be in the Constitution: life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, food, water, medicine, and the right to privacy. And otherwise, you can do whatever the hell you want. Also, don't care what it is. If it's by yourself, if you're by yourself and you are not directly affecting anybody, like I mean direct effect, like your hands are to yourself, you are by yourself. If you got locked in a closet, there's no way you could commit a damn crime. That's what I mean. Like, I don't give a shit what you do. By yourself, just fucking shocker. Just go right ahead. I don't care what it is. I really don't. Like, zero holds barred. I fucking could care less. Excuse my language. My French is acting up. Involves another person? Yeah. Don't get stupid. Consent? Yes or no? Consent, yes. Fine. Ever withdrawn? Cease and desist immediately. Consent? Yes or no? No. You better not even be thinking about it. Because when it comes down to it, not only do you keep your hands to yourself, you keep those hands in your brain to yourself too. Don't be thinking about those things with the hands in your brain. Somebody might have to knock your hands out of your head and some sense into it. That's how it should be. But in order for something to be a behavior, it doesn't matter what it is. It's turning around. It's hearing a sound. It's like being scared at something. It establishes itself as a thought first. Albeit quickly, sometimes. A thought first. Fuck, I let the screen go off. Is it still on? Please tell me it's still on. Jesus, HMNF and Christ. Oh, God. Dang, that scared the shit out of me. Oh, man. I forgot I was supposed to be keeping that screen on. Anyway, where are my notes at? Alright, there we go. I hate losing momentum. It's just terrible for business. And it's kind of fucked up to say, but this place is fucked up, and so business is pretty good. Let's see. So, yeah. Oh, and Native Americans, I'm sorry. Indigenous peoples to these lands that were originally here need to have one place in every state. How in the... I don't care if there's nobody on it. It's theirs to remain theirs until somebody takes all of ours and makes it theirs. Wouldn't be no law, no statute, no pledge, no plea, no people, nobody, don't care. Would be theirs. So, like, as far as I'm concerned, diplomatic immunity, I don't care what you do there. Keep your hands to yourself, please. If they're on somebody else, I don't know. I don't know. Actually, that's well without me being within reach, because I don't know how that even, like, is it? Because isn't that diplomatic? Like, everything that happens within it. I don't know, but there should be one in every state, and technically per capita, you should go by how many indigenous there were. How many there are now? Scratch that. How many there were? How many people there are here now? So how many were here, as opposed to how many? Do the math, and there should be like a per capita like growth rate. Maybe not like one for one, but definitely a growth rate that exists because of the numbers. And then we think it's cool to, like, what? Put them in a BFE, like, I'm sure it's nice as shit, but I've seen nice shit in every state, so maybe they want a little bit of all of it, considering this was all theirs, and they deserve a piece of all of it. In every state, per capita with that growth rate, so that way we can start fixing what happened in this place when somebody first came over here and decided to take it. When they didn't use waste bins. They didn't waste things. Look at us now. I'm in a pigsty like a hog. I'm telling you, it's no bullshit. It's not that there's trash around me, it's just that it's cluttered. It just feels cluttered. Really just my blankets and dogs. Hold on. It's just my blankets and dogs. That's why I show you the table, because the table's got all the shit on it. I'm kidding. It's got a lamp on it. You know what I'm saying? It's got like... Okay, look. Let me show you something. This bag right here. See this bag? Check this out. This bag has little bags in it. Ain't that funny? Ain't that funny? This bag got little bags in it. You know what these come in? Either a big bag or a box. You know what those come in? Wrapped in plastic. You know what that comes in? More plastic than it absolutely necessary. Cubic zirconic bottles of glass for all things contained. I don't care if it's for a shelf or a car or a crate or a bin or a box or a bag to carry your groceries in. Needs to be made out of cubic zirconic glass diamond stuff. Like the cubic zirconia is diamond toughness. Like every bottle. I don't know if you caught this earlier, but if you ever went to the lake and you stepped on a glass bottle went into your foot while you was trying to have fun, I'm telling you, I hate broken glass. Stepping on broken glass is not worth the time it takes for it to heal. I would have just not went to the lake. I would have told bad things to everybody that I was gonna go with before I would have went and had a good time with them as much as I did for that one occurrence. Cause stepping on a glass bottle and it goes in so easy and it ain't worth it. And why people hit somebody with a glass bottle, you see them break one. It better be a cubic zirconic one too. Hit them with it. Not really. Don't really do that. I don't condone violence. I guess it's like a pacifist or something. Keep my hands to myself. Unless we're friends, we can spar. I'll fight you all day when we're friends. Because then I know that when it's time to like quit fighting, it's cool. Because I don't fight people because they're crazy. They bring guns. They bring knives. They want to like got shit to prove or whatever. Like fuck that. I don't want to have nothing to do with it. I don't have nothing to do with it. We're friends. We can spar because shit. Somebody in the world at one point in time knew martial arts, and I would like to learn some too, and I don't really know very much, so you need somebody that ain't gonna beat the shit out of you because they better at fighting than you while you trying some shit you ain't never done before. That's all I'm saying. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this out of the way. This is something that needs to be said. Something that needs to be said. The definition of this word is a praise being given to a person who is in every way better, comma, or like what is it, semicolon, of royal lineage, bloodline, comma, what is it, kin, or what was it, like kin kind, like kin. I don't know how you say kin in the like kinfolk, comma, what is it, like a deserving of respect, like who deserves respect. So a praise for someone who is in every way better. That's the definition of this word. I'm telling you, I ain't never heard this word like that. It's the coolest shit I've ever seen. A praise for someone who is in every way better, who is of royal lineage and bloodline. I'm talking about like life-saving knowledge. Knowledge, that's knowledge. Information is one thing. Knowledge. I'm talking about knowledge, right? If you're an author of that knowledge, you can get compensated up to a dollar amount, and then that shit's free. We scan it page by page, make sure it looks perfect, upload it on the internet, and there's one place that you could go, one website that has got, top flight security that nobody will ever get into, and it'll always be factual information. Ain't no Wikipedia, ain't no dumb shit. If that source is cited, you already know what it's going to look like. Whenever you look in it, it's going to look exactly like the site did. Because it's 100% factual, actual, out of the textbook. And then there'll be like a backup archive in case something changes. They'll take actual just pictures like this, but then have already had them scanned in there in case somebody tries to go in there and change the stuff. You got a backup picture in the vault and be like, nope, that's correct. So I guess we got hacked and nothing changed. That's what we need. That's what we need. Because once you're compensated, man, I don't care. You there ain't no way you could tell me that a person during a lifetime can do enough research by themselves with their own money and then publish, or even other people's money, and then publish a book, and then they can get compensated until forever? So like after they pass away? Hell no. Compensate them what they're worth. Shit, you don't make more than what, 2.5 to 5.0, even with a damn good job. You'd have to make like 100 grand, 150 grand a year to make 5 million in a lifetime working 50, 65 years. So yeah, you ain't getting more than that. Unless you did some shit like you was climbing Mount Everest backwards with your rucksack under your feet uphill first. Then I did. Yeah, you named. I'll give you a blank check. But yeah, information, knowledge, rather, knowledge needs to be free. Cause Elon Musk, smart dude. He really is smart. Like quick, reads. Albert Einstein, sixth grade dropout. How did he teach himself how to be a physicist? I mean, how did he learn how to be a physicist? He taught himself with books and some other stuff, you know. But because imagine if you had a sick dog or something like with Parvo, and then you could, I don't know, go down to the pharmacy and see. This goes right along with everything. But you could do whatever you want as long as your hands are to yourself. I really don't care. Keep your hands to yourself. If they're not to yourself, I don't know. I don't get down on punishing people. So it's like, I don't know. You'd have to figure out your own punishment or something because I don't even want to be involved in that. So I had a dog with Parvo, and her name was Snow White. She couldn't get up because Parvo causes severe abdominal pain, like severe. Don't get up and eat. Don't get up and drink because then they have to stretch it out and it ain't worth it. And they always like, if they ain't on the floor, but then they get on their little pillow, that shit hurts. All of it does. They don't want to eat or drink because every time they swallow and it gets to their gut, terrible. It just eat them up from the inside. Had some morphine tablets that I had for my kidney stones. Went ahead and thought about my weight as opposed to the dog's weight, how I felt taking one for my kidney stone and waiting for it to pass and stuff like that. Gauged about that and then half of whatever I thought, and then gave it to the dog, which was really like powder on my finger pretty much when it came down to it, and like a little speck of a tablet. Within 15 minutes, she was up and drinking some water and ate a little bit of food and went and lay back down. And I was so happy. I was so happy. She probably would have died otherwise. That's the one thing that gets dogs in Parvo. Imagine if every dog that ever had Parvo would have lived if you just were able to go buy one morphine tablet for a dog outright. Just go up there and say, I need one morphine tablet for a dog. I don't need an appointment. I don't need this dumb shit. I don't have money for that. My dog is dying. It's like my kid. You don't want me feeling like you're trying to stop me. You know, I wouldn't condone it going that far, but if you do, shit, I would turn a blind eye to that. Shit, I might even help you as far as I'm concerned. I'll stop in front of the cop car while you leave. What they're gonna do to me? Arrest me for stealing? I ain't steal shit. I just can't drive or see, and you're fucking flying through here with your lights on, you asshole. Nah, I don't like cops. I love police officers, though. Police officers hold themselves to a higher standard. They are officers, just like officers are said to be in the military. They are respected to the point to being called sir. Cops are like the fucking pigsty that I live in. Actually, I wouldn't even live in a fucking pigsty of a cop. A police officer? Definitely. I would be honored just to even be in the presence of them, or know that they were walking through the place that I was, or will walk through a place that I actually go to because they. I can't believe we go to the same place. But a cop, I saw a video of a cop put a bag of methamphetamines. This is an older working guy, about 35, 45 years of age, in a little beater, you know, like from kind of like we see beaters where I'm from. Beaters, they're good little cars, little beaters, you know, little paint mess and stuff. Good to go. You get you where you got to go. This working class dude wearing blue jeans, t-shirt, regular baseball, like not regular baseball cap, but like that older gentleman had that cap so dang long, it's like tarnished. You wash it, it gets darker, or something. You know, it's like that's been his hat forever. So then what happens? I forgot where I was going with this. Um, oh, police officers. Oh, and cops. And he put the bag of methamphetamines in his trunk, or pretended that he did. Didn't realize he had his body cam on for once, because you know how that happens. Hold on, I need to address that. If I was in charge of anything, and I found out a police officer didn't have his body cam on for 1 second, and I repeat, one Mississippi, even half that, a quarter of that, a tenth of that, a fucking billionth of that, I don't even care how fucking small of a fraction, it better not even exist. I don't care if the batteries died or it just accidentally jostled loose for a second or just some malfunction on the inside. You're fired. Get out of my office. I don't ever see you again. If I ever see you in this fucking place, I'm going to knock your lights out. Your body cam was off. I don't give a fuck who you are. I'll take you back, beat the fuck out of you. Your body cam was off. I don't give a shit if nothing happened. Same thing. Same thing. You better fucking hope you never see me again too, because I'm going to beat the fuck out of you. And if you keep beating me, I'm going to fucking keep figuring out how to get my ass whooped, get back up, and fight your ass next time I see you because you're a dumb. I'm not going to go any further than that. You know? But that's a standard that needs to be upheld. That's the kind of things that need to be. Because police officers, I can't say I've ever met any better people. Cops that put methamphetamines in people's car, that they didn't. Dude had no priors. Got incarcerated from possession of methamphetamines, lost his job, and his kid. He had sole custody. You explain that to them. You explain that to them. The people that's got the custody of his daughter in foster care and stuff, or whoever she got to stay with. But then he can't get her back because they're like, sir, but it's on your arrest record. You explain that to them. Go ahead. Some cop fucked this whole dude, and that's not even the one. That wasn't the only occurrence. This dude had been doing that shit for a while, months. You talking about people getting locked up in county and to pay all this money, and they know they didn't do nothing. And what do they say? What everybody else says. I'm innocent. I'm innocent. I didn't do nothing. He must have planted it. The fact that a cop has the ability to arrest you and just take you to jail for planting drugs on you, that shit shouldn't exist. I'm talking about GoPro cameras. Like, I want all angles. Why is it just on your chest? I want to see like 360. I don't care if you look goofy. Wear it. You're carrying a gun. Seriously. And you get to shoot first. And they have to do what you say. And everybody at the department got your back. So, shit, if you get shot, your family's taken care of. You toting a gun. What'd you expect? But it shouldn't happen. But people shouldn't be scared of what you gonna do to them, because there ain't no justice as soon as you get arrested. Like, there ain't no talking your way out of shit. They're like, no, get out. Nope, you're arrested. No, you are the face of the entire judicial system, the legislative system, the government. A police officer is the face of the government. That shit needs to be taken seriously. Like, I seen an episode of Cops. This dude was walking. He's like, got pulled over, whatever. He's like, oh, I just found that down the street and I picked it up so the kids wouldn't get it. Two things. He could have been telling the truth and he could have been lying. Who was it up to? Technically, if you go by the book, it wasn't up to anyone, because the police officer decided to look in this person's pocket. Now, hold on there, sir. Wait a minute. Now, did you not understand the constitutional rights when this thing all started? Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, food, water, medicine, right to privacy. Clothing is part of that right to life. You got to stay warm, you'll die. It's cold right now. It's cold. It was freezing ass cold the other day. Freezing at like, especially here. It's terrible. It's all right though. But look, I forgot what I was trying to say. Start talking about myself. Freezing ass cold. Clothes. That pocket is a kangaroo fold. Get out of that. You don't know little Joey in there or what? So imagine this. Imagine if a person, because they can really put little Joey in their pocket, and you reach in and they say they ain't got nothing and you touch it, that's automatic jail time. I don't care who you are. Technically. Think about it. Because you just asked them what? Got anything in your pocket? No, it's through my pocket. You got anything sharp that's going to stab me? Of course not. You reach in there and what'd you grab? And start pulling. Well, I'm sure he didn't want you to do that. So then what would that be? Well, that'd be sexual assault by a police officer on a civilian because they had little Joey up in his pocket. And the police officer thought it was, I don't know, a baggie with some rock in it. Huh. Kind of mistake would that get him? You can get him sent up the river, I think. Yeah. So you shouldn't be allowed to put your hands in somebody's pockets. I don't give a shit if it's a nuke. I can put my hands in nobody's pocket. Like, shit, whatever you got going on in there, I can't see it. I don't care if your pocket's open. I don't care if your pocket's see-through. Actually, I care if your pocket's see-through, just cover it. I still ain't going in there. That's your shit. That's like your skin. That's like me sticking my hand in your ass and grabbing it. Ain't gonna happen. I don't care if I know it's in there. You can't force somebody to do something. I don't care who you are, where you are, why you feel justified, what the law is, what it's saving, what it's hurting, who it's protecting. Because if you ain't protecting the bottom line rights of a person, no matter who or what or when or why they are or what they do, then you do not respect life. I don't give a shit. I'm so serious when I use the extreme. I don't care who or what they are or what they're doing or what for, why, even how. I don't care if it's in their pocket, it's staying there. If it could fit in the palm of their hand and it's outside their pocket, or shit, if it could fit right back in their pocket, I'd be like, well, you got to the 5 Mississippi to put that shit back in your pocket. 1, 2. What are you talking about? Nothing. I was just wondering what you was over here doing. Nothing, chilling. Cool. All right. Take it easy. See you later. All right, officer. See you. Thank you. Anytime. Y'all be good now, you hear? You know what I'm saying? That's an interaction between a police officer and people who are allowed to make their own decisions. I don't give a shit if there was crackheads smoking crack rock and he saw them. It's in their pocket now. They didn't have so much that they're selling to people. It's somebody smoking crack. They're not sharing. They're going to smoke crack regardless. You catch them stealing for crack, that's different. I don't know. Figure out the penalty for that, or actually, that one's easy. So here's what we do. So whenever you take this person, this individual to jail, prison, whatever, okay, preferably prison. We'll just go with prison. All right. Let's just say they had, I don't know, the biggest rock, whatever, going upstate for about a year. Last time I checked, about 41% of the incarcerated Americans were due to drug charges. Within 5 years, 70% of them would be back in jail. Okay, let me pause right there. You got damn near half. I'm going to just say half because there are other related offenses that take precedence or priority in being and having a label because they involved a firearm or something. But a lot of times you're going to find a firearm when it comes to some type of narcotics and stuff like that. Anyway, so you got damn near half of all crimes being drug related. You got 70% of those people are going to be back in jail in 5 years. And probably most all of them are going to be back here for drugs. So what are they doing when they get out? You take them to jail, they sit for 5, 1, 2, 3, whatever. Get out on good behavior, 6 months, I don't know. Then within 5 years, they're where? They're right back. Oh, shit. Well, that's reform. I mean, that's what jails are for? Is that what jails are for? We just put people in them and then just let them back out so they'll just continue what they're doing. So really we just stop them from doing what they're already going to do and never really actually did anything to help them? Oh shit. Well, that's what jails are for. But this is what I suggest. Now, if you have these individuals, you know they're going to do, okay, you know they're doing it. In those 5 years, 70% of them going right back. Then you have, let's see, that's 2 million people incarcerated, half a million. Then 70%, that's 700,000 within 5 years going right back. 700,000 people. That's at least 700,000 months. And I'm pretty sure it has to be like, what, longer than 6 months? So it's like, that's a lot. That's like 1.4 million years at 6 months apiece. Yeah, 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 yeah. So that's what I suggest. I have seen a person give 115% of what is actually physically humanly possible for a crack rock. Sad to say, they'll do anything for it, and by that I mean they'll do more than a human should be able to do for it. It's weird, but it exists. Nobody could run a 4 minute mile at one point in time, and then at one point in time they did, and now high school kids are doing it too. They're running the 4 minute mile, and that's it. That's where the separation of the conversation went, and that has no relation to do with the guy that ran the 4 minute mile. But we know they'll do anything for it, right? So then, here's what we do: you're in prison where you can't leave. Setting the stage for you. You're in prison where you can't leave, with a bunch of people who are willing to do anything, damn near anything, for drugs, who have little cells where they can't get in very much trouble, where there's already drugs. So what do? You bring in a therapist and you reward them for compliancy. The more honesty, the more open, the more that they could do their assignments, you give them better percentile of quality of whatever they choose at that rate. Because people land themselves in jail, which nobody wants to be in jail when they first get there. So everybody who got to jail the first time was like, oh shit, jail. Then if they didn't want to be there, but the drugs is what led them there, then they're already showing that they're willing to do anything for them, right? So then why not give them to them for compliancy for therapy? Trauma begets drug use begets trauma. Therapy, everybody in the world could benefit from therapy, because therapy is really just talking about it in the most constructive way, making sure you know why you said it like that. And then you also identify things you wouldn't normally, but then it's in a trusted relationship that you know they can't say shit to nobody. Or not relationship, in a trusted in a trusted setting. That's what it is. It has to be in a trusted setting. Disregard all that. Stop. Hey, where's my pass? Sorry. It has to be in a trusted setting that causes you to speak on the things that you find most important, because those things most important to you say everything about who you are. And then so if the reward that you're getting from that is doing positive, which by compliance with therapy, I don't care who you are, if you're complying with therapy and a licensed therapist, at least a half decent one, even sometimes bad therapists can give. There's no such thing as a bad therapist, actually. I'm just trying to make a therapist joke. I know it's an inside joke. They told me it's in my head. I'm kidding. So any therapist, compliance with any therapist, and especially doing so for any type of like narcotic or illicit substance in prison, of all places that you hate to be, that you can't leave though. So if it's given to you, you kind of can't go anywhere. But then as soon as you get down the street to your home, you're working on assignments. You're talking to your cellie before he has to go to his. You're trying to work him through things or whatever, so he can get more discovery and things like that. So that way he can figure out more about himself in such a way that's in a consistent manner, with both of you having the best of what it is they have to offer at the time for what it is that you have been showing and giving. Then when you get out, you're like, it's weird. It's so weird. And, you end up running into your buddy. And, y'all get out at the same time. And it's like, I never thought I'd get out on good behavior. It's so crazy. And then what happens? It's like, I just feel like I want to help somebody, and I don't know why. Like, is that weird? He's like, I know. Hey, let's talk about it. Walking down the street, just got out of prison, talking about how they can help people. Where they going? Probably to do some drugs or something? Maybe. Yeah, probably. But not because they need to, but because they would want to. Because at that rate, if they spent what a year doing that like that, they would have they would have made it further than any sober normal person could have made it within like 6 to 10 years because they would have been doing everything possible that they could to just get a little better, get a little more high or whatever. But this is all administered by a doctor. Like if it's intravenous, it's doctor. If it's, you know, give it to them how they want it, whatever. Make sure it's done responsibly, things like that, and make sure that there's no tomfoolery going on, and it's done carefully by medical professionals, and everything is tested, and the grade is known, just like in a lab and stuff. Then you're reinforcing positive behavior and only positive behavior. And so, really, a prison would become the best place to ever be because out here, people would still suck. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. People would still be blind. I'm sorry. I'm not. I feel like as being aggressive toward people. I harbor resentment toward strangers because I can't face my family long enough to tell them that I felt like they wronged me before. So I take it out on in my speech and things when I talk about other people and I call them names because I don't want to open up to my family to tell them that that had been there, that that existed, that at one point in time I felt as though they wronged me and I was like up against the wall in the corner and just like not really in need, just really just needy, just really just wanting to know somebody was there so I could so that I knew they cared. Just just wanted to know somebody cared or needed no, I just needed to know somebody cared. I thought I was going to say it the other way and I didn't. That's so weird. I just needed to know somebody cared. Because care is, yeah, well, I'm not even, that's a justification. But, anyways, yeah, so if you're incarcerated, that would help solve things because then if you end up fighting or doing negative things to people, no matter what it is, imagine being stuck in solitary confinement without it for a week. And you were being given it darn near freely. You know? Like, how would somebody in prison react to that? Like, that's hell because it's only you that would have done it to yourself because everyone else is high on the hog while you're by yourself, right? That kind of makes sitting by myself. But I like this. I really enjoy this. This is where this is where I get to say what I want and people don't talk back. To where it interrupts me because once I get momentum, it's not that I don't. I value feedback. I just can't ever get it. Sometimes I like ask for it a lot, but you know it's kind of hard. It's still hard to get. But I have these ideas and I try to write them down and I try to remember them and then I have notebooks and then I can't find them, so then I get more and then I find them and then I was gonna go through the list and then oh well, like well, I'm not even gonna show it off. Well, I guess I could. I have like a list. Well, I guess just in case. Okay, yeah, because this is actually a docu thing. So then like maybe it'll focus. So just in case something. But it's like really when it comes to all the issues that exist, There was no way that I could have. There's no way I could have. I ended up like this because I got fired from my job, and so I was just jobless, walking my dogs way too much because, hold on. I was walking my dogs all the time because I felt like I finally had time I could spend with them, and then I agreed to take care of them and provide the life that they have for them, and so the life they have is the one I give them, allow them, because I would have to. The give doesn't seem like the right word, but it technically is. It's like they can only get what I give them because they follow me so much. It's not that It's not that like there's a dog door. Dog door always open. Threw the cover of it away. I don't care how cold it gets. I'd rather sew blankets together and nail them to the ceiling than have to worry about my dog getting stuck inside in a fire or something like that, or or putting them at risk rather. And so, you know, and then now they know how to like defend. It's so cool. They know how to defend kids. So it's like my the mother dog bit my brother's friend because he was like chasing his kid. I think they were playing, but he's like not chasing, but like waddle behind, and she bit him, nipped him. Like, hey, pay attention. I don't know what the hell you were doing. Him, same thing. The there was a whoever was taller got bit chasing after someone. First time I ever known him to do that. Just a reaction. But they don't bark at people like when we're walking. They don't bark at people. They don't bite. They'll bark at cars. I think that's now that's irrelevant. But spend so much time in the woods, and just hanging out and chilling and talking, and or I talk, and they hear a lot, and so it just felt good to be able to spend all that time with them where I was staying, because I was technically staying out in the woods pretty much. Not literally so much, but spent so much time out there. It was like I was out there more than I was inside. Because it just. But then I was gonna like jump on my neighbors and some other stuff, and it just became a terrible place. Too much traffic and everything, and like I don't know. But then I realized, one of my neighbors down the road whose property met up with the creek. He's like, what are you doing on my property? I was like, hey, your fence down there is broken. He's like, no, what are you doing on my property? I was like, oh, you're serious? Is it an issue? Yes, I don't want you on my property. And I'm like, oh, I'm over here trying to fix your fence and learn a lesson. I shouldn't have said that. I was over there trying to learn a lesson about electric fence, standing in a cooler I'd found right there in the forest, and it's insulated. So I stood in it and I grabbed the wire, and it didn't shock me. And I was shocked. And then I accidentally touched the T-post on the side that was grounded, and that shocked me. You always look around so much more than you should, is what you should do. If you're messing with electricity, please, please, please do. And if it's touching the ground, it's grounded. I don't care if it's plastic. Just think about it like that. Think about like everything you touch is going to shock you, and then look for every reason that it's not. Because as long as you've identified every reason that it's not, you'll see if there's a reason it is connected to the ground with some metallic whatever. But yeah. So but then I don't watch TV. Is out with the dogs so much. My dogs led me to God. It's like in a real way. Like seriously, just like following them. But like technically, legally, if you work for money, and on that money it says in God we trust, and in this here book it says in Genesis, well this one doesn't have Genesis, uh, but that's the most important story in the book. It's the oldest story in the book. It says that the animals that were made, the beasts that they're seen as good. And that never changed. That never changes. So by following them, and then you can't argue with the that dog backwards God, man's best friend. So they're just, they're protectors. They're nice to us, which they don't have to be, and stuff like that's really cool. And so by just thinking about how the nature side of things views the people side, gave me a lot of insight. So we're gonna go through just real quick. So as far as abortion laws go, just want to get this out there. So medically, or an abortion is medical. So no matter if it's a necessity or not, you can't go and peek at someone's private file and find out anything about them that would require some type of information given that would be confidential between doctor and patient. So by making a law that invades the privacy by seclusion and exclusion of an abortion, you can't say that it's constitutional to exclude a group for having some type of medical something, because then you would have to look at their medical file, which is illegal, because you're, like a senator or something, or like a legislator, not a doctor. Even if you are, you're not their doctor. There's only, three people in that room: the doctor, the man, and the woman. But technically, the woman and that doctor, that's up to them. They tell somebody, and then they tell somebody else, that doesn't matter. They only told who they told, and that's as far as that goes. So even if they told and it was true, you still couldn't. So, also, well, let's not get on that because that's actually a snipe. Only the doctor patient. Yep. No, so only the doctor would know if they were pregnant or not. So, yeah, deeming it illegal to have an abortion is saying, well, we're gonna, if you go in there for any medical thing, then we're gonna make sure that you're not pregnant or something or whatever. That just doesn't. You can't pregnancy test somebody for no reason. You can't pregnancy test somebody for any reason, actually. Like, that's like a violation of life and liberty. Because since when have you ever been forced to piss in a cup? And to piss in a cup is unnatural, especially that you have to, one, hold it, two, piss in it. So you're like pissing in your hand, you feel the warmth. That's derogatory. That's like being pissed on. Then you have to smell it, you have to see it, you have to dump it, you have to wash your hands. It's like you pissed on yourself purposefully because you were told to. And so if you did happen to piss on yourself, then technically wouldn't they be, those who told you to, be liable for making you piss in the cup? Because technically you wouldn't have pissed on yourself otherwise. And then so you're now covered in human excrement, which is so degrading. That is immediately a civil crime and a criminal crime to have done to someone. Mind you, you peed on yourself, yeah, but who the hell has experience peeing in a cup? You get lucky a couple times, sure, but is it something you just go through and do? No. So then you can't ask them to pee in a cup because it would be unconstitutional. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, free to make their own decisions. There's nothing that would say. So I guess what could make it to where that they would have to have a pregnancy test? Doctor in the emergency room while they're on a stretcher saying we need to find out if this person is or isn't pregnant, because that's the only time anyone would need to know, is a doctor, and only the doctor and the medical staff. Other than that, it would be irrelevant, because everything inside of that person is that person's. Everything in that person's pockets that person's. Everything of that person is that person's. So if it's contained within a person, there's no other way that you could get any information from it without it being illegal. because it's contained and housed within that person. And then so to like sift through, so you would technically have to catch them off guard. You'd have to, but then okay, so you would have to see it coming out of their body. Nope, because then you would have to see it coming out of their body, and you'd have to be surprising them in the act. So then you would technically be spying on them using the restroom, which would then be I don't. That's like voyeur is illegal. I'm pretty sure it's what it's called. So then, there's no way you could see them and prove it's them urinating in the cup. So then you couldn't even prove that they're pregnant or not, even if they look pregnant, because that is a very, very hair trigger. You don't want to be telling or asking women about pregnancy as you see it in your eyes that they might be, because the most terrible thing would be to be wrong and her be nice about it. Because that would be like, shit. Knew I shouldn't have said nothing. Insulin. Oh, man, Bobby. I'm so sorry, dude. Takes $6 to make, sold for $36 with, what is it, the two blue cards? The, ah, anyways, so if you have what is it? What does he get? What does he get? Justin gets Medicare and Medicaid. $6 to make, sold for $36 with Medicare and Medicaid, or $98 without. This was before the small price drop. So there's also a Privacy Act that protects the copyright of the recipe, which is technically unlawful and unconstitutional to have sanctioned that as private or copyright protected, because it is medicine, that the formula for formulating that medicine that saves lives. Now, this saves lives, mind you, but people are rationing it and die because they can't make it at home because they don't have the recipe, while someone pins the recipe up in a box, makes their own, and charges $100. $6 to make it the most. Even with insurance, $36. That's 6 times what you paid for it. So if every time you paid $100, you get $600 back, are you happy? Sure. If every time you had to pay for something that was $100 and you had to pay $600, would you be happy? No. Or you wouldn't. Okay. So yeah, that's, and then it's not like if they were giving like all that money towards so what is it? If they put in 6 and get 12 on top, so making 18 total, that would be okay. Anything over that, even if they charged $1,000 a vial, would have to go to curing this illness with that money that comes from the medicine for that illness. So then that way the stream of money coming in would be what it is that's going to be funding that illness not existing. If for whatever reason it does get cured, that money goes to the next thing. Even if those who pay the money in want to put it for that thing. Anything specifically. So yeah. Life is a constitutional right. So by keeping the copyright private for this medicine, it's causing the death of people. And there's no, I don't even understand how that's even happening. Life is a constitutional right. People are rationing and dying because they cannot afford it. You can't afford a medication that you want to live longer, so that way you can pay for a medicine that helps you live longer, so you can pay for a medicine that helps you live longer. That's like going to work to get to make money, to go home, to buy the things that you need to stay alive, to wake up, to go home, to go back to work, to make the money, to live in the place that you sleep in, to wake up, to go to work, to live in the place you sleep to wake up to go to work from. So, even if the government has to manufacture it, I would mind, or if the government has to go to the actually every asset that that company has that has been doing that, and people have passed away while they're not where while they have not been easily, and I say easily, been selling it for $6 or $7, whatever it costs. Let's see. So I guess plus 50%. So at least they get half back because if it costs six, no, because then they would have to make six back. So then you get half profit. So if they were charging $9 and selling it like that to all those who needed it immediately without some kind of waiting process, then they could keep the assets. If not, and I mean easy, it better have been easy. If anybody died because they needed it, couldn't afford it, waiting on a tier two or a tier one approval from their doctor or whatever because somebody didn't call tier two and the insurance company, no, that's all their assets would be frozen and given to solving all these problems, curing all these illnesses. So then let's see. Yeah, you're not supposed to let the government in a lot of things, but with transparency, 100% transparency. All the money that goes in every week, updated. All the money that goes out every week, updated. I'm talking about receipts all the way, the works that you could go and do the math yourself and it would all be there. And if anything's missing, everybody's held accountable. And I mean everybody. They'll pay back every dollar of that receipt that's not there. Let's see. Presidency, we already addressed that, but let's do it again. So, for any and all public office, you would take applications online at a place, and then then you would have the interviews online, like this, and you would see who the person is, how they are, what they stand for, what they believe in, what their policy is, what they're like. Before, so hopefully their resume had some of their policies, so you could have went and voted on it or just looked it over. Then whenever you have this interview process or whatever, you get to vote on that person. You get 5 available votes for every single candidate for whatever seat that pertains to your GPS location, your voter registration. So then you can have 5 candidates and give 5 to 1, 4, 3, 2, and 1 to the last one. You kind of like them all. And at that rate, because they're average Joes applying now and don't need money like millions to campaign first to get the face out there to then campaign to win the race, they're getting in the faces for free. We'll get some good people in there, right? People with good ideas. It would be like too many good ideas. It's like, does it even matter who we vote for? Nope, it's just going to be a name and a face. Just vote for whoever because the ideas are all going to be the same. And then with a person like that in there, it's like, if their idea is better or their idea is gooder or huge, we'll get a little system going on the side where it's like a mock vote or whatever, and you vote. And if there's a certain number of millions of the 300, certain percentage of the 340 million Americans actually vote for that thing happening, that shit could be passed overnight. It would require one more vote of actual, so you could do like a mock vote at any time, just like a petition to have it, and then within an hour or within 3 hours there should be like something up as a mock vote or whatever for people to vote on. And if it has a certain per capita vote, then it goes to like a real vote. Everybody send a notification, hey, vote on this. The quicker you do, then the quicker it gets pushed through as being an actual law, and then boom, that shit goes in the books. And I'm talking about simple laws too, like all these, every line is like a law or two, or like really what's wrong with other stuff and stuff. But there's more than one law on this one page, and it can still be read like from here. That's good. That works. 10 pages, big old print. Nope. But yeah. I don't know. That company just needs to stop charging. Right, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, food, water, medicine, right to privacy. Those are unalienable rights. Those are things you just deserve. You're here. We've been here. If you just got here, we're going to make it in such a way that you have those things, and those things should never be taken away from you. Because you deserve them. We've been here long enough to make it happen. It's our gift to you for you being our future. We really appreciate it. We need more like you because without it, there's no future. It's like a pun. It's a punny joke. All right. So inflation. Okay. Some people say it's the coins. Some people say it's the dollars. As far as I'm concerned, if you put the cap on capitalism that you can't make over X amount of money or percentage or whatever, there are so many smart people in this country. I'm telling you, somebody could work out the math and be like, yeah, if we just did it like do for all these things and that and this and that and this and research, blah blah blah, and it's like that'll be the bottom line. Everything over goes to curing illnesses at what 70, 80%? Nope, 95%. 5% of that can go to the government because if the government needs it, they're not doing something right because they shouldn't even inflation shouldn't exist. It should always be deflating. But if you cure the illnesses and you're saving people's lives, which we'll more on that later, yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be real good. Inflation. So so many good ideas go unnoticed. Okay. That's a snipe. Oh, that's actually not about that. Okay, so as far as inflation goes, lock in prices. If you're in the green, you can still make it in the green. It doesn't matter how much money exists. If the prices stay the same, at least nobody will freak out when it's like $130 to buy a pack of cigs. It'll still be the same. You'll still be working for the same amount of money. It doesn't matter if the stock market crashed. It doesn't matter because everything will still be remaining the same. Money will still be getting spent. A stock market crash is just a technique to scare the shit out of you. Will it work or won't it? Oh my God, it crashed. That's okay. Somebody lost some money that was rich. They'll be fine. You do just fine. So they'll be working beside you at the company they own. Because they used to be rich or something, you know. Yeah. But yeah, don't shop at those companies. Like if they make that much money, don't do it. Don't do it to us. The more money they put in the bank, the less money we have. Those 10% of the benefactors that benefit from everything that happens already have over 70% of the money in the bank of the whole pie. 90% of us fight over 30%. That's why we're always trying to make ends meet. Like nine dogs in a cage fighting over less than a third of what somebody else can't even eat, and it all goes to waste. I have a story for you. You got 10 apples in a tree, and you got 10 people. So somebody goes up, gets the apples, brings them down, goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and walks off with 2. The 10th person is standing there, is like, hey, where's my apple? I had to go up there and get him. You know, it's not my fault you didn't go up there and get him, but I'm gonna make sure I eat tomorrow. So then that night, after everybody eats, and then that one person who didn't have the apple, well, they starved. They passed away in their sleep. The other person who had the 2 apples, he passed away in his sleep as well. Um, just both natural causes, and still had an extra apple. That's the problem with worrying about tomorrow, what you can't use until tomorrow, especially if somebody needs it for today. Like, sure, I got this place stocked up like XYZ or whatever. We got all the medications, blah, 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 blah. It's like, people need those today, though. Like, you never know. That could be the person that saves your life. Could very well be. So then, it's best not to worry about tomorrow as long as we can do good with it today. Especially medicine, food, water. If we run out tomorrow, we both made it. We can carry each other, whoever goes down first. If only one of us makes it, I guess I'm going to have the firemen's carry you until I run out, because I ain't leaving you behind. Even if there's no life there, you were a life that deserves to be honored, so you'd still go home. Or we both won't. All right, so let's see what we got here. Inflation. Oh, so just lock prices. Wages can go down, never up. Prices can go down, never up. Till we figure out a better way to figure it out. Stop borrowing money. Why is our Pentagon spending so much money? Like, don't you just own everything anyway? Like, who tells you what to do? Because the Congress doesn't. And something about a skiff. Ooh. Hey, you're in front of the entire nation, and we're talking about aliens and UFOs, and we want to know this information. I'd have to get in a skiff and tell you. Did he really just say that he would have to like get like? Doesn't he know the whole hearing is about aliens? I'd have to get in a skiff to tell you. Did this? Why am I not up there? Why am I not up there? Who the hell is? Who is this dude? And it's like, yeah, I'd have to get with you in a skiff, motherfucker. Ooh, that shit does piss me off. All right, so, but why would you do that? Why would somebody do that? That make no sense. All right, so at least that'll just stop it. Because even if the stock market crashes, it don't matter. That's just rich people just what out on their asses. All right, we're all good to go. So this revolves around our judicial system as well as the legislature system. If you're claiming Democrat or Republican, if you don't like each other, you're going from negative emotions towards each other, and to get them to agree with you, they would have to be positive. Hard to do. If you're friends, Democrat, Democrat, or Republican, Republican, and you're friends, it's hard to work your way down to negative. They have a predisposition, obviously, to the positivity. So then, altogether, let's see, you have, if you're enemies, it's hard to get them to agree. If you're friends, it's hard to get them to disagree. If your public defense attorney is friends with your, you guessed it, district attorney, guess what's going to happen to you if you happen to need a public defense attorney? Especially if they're opposite sex. Like, think about a male and a female. One's the district attorney, and one's the, your public lawyer, and they're friends. They know each other outside of, in a biased way, because obviously, if you know yourself outside of the courtroom, the other one outside of the courtroom, nobody knows what's going on outside of the courtroom because, no one's told to wear some type of like GoPro or something like that to where you're held accountable for what it is that you do. Everybody needs to be held accountable for what it is that they do. And so, by wearing a GoPro all the time, you would at least be 100% honest no matter what. And that would be perfect. Because we need more accountability, especially from our lawmakers and our presidents and those people. Like, you can't stuff your pockets with money if, like, if you're doing something shady. So, if I was, I would tell. That's for sure. Let's see. So, yeah. So, by getting that positive relationship, would you even get them to want to affect it negatively? No. So the public defense attorney would do whatever the DA says because they're at a predisposition genetically to listen to the opposite sexually. So healthcare. All right. So there's a need to afford healthcare. Let's see. Doctors should be going to school for free. If you are a psychiatrist, psychologist, a doctor, a surgeon, any kind of pediatric doctor, things like that, school free, dentist free. You could get sepsis, right? Learn that from a doctor as I was trespassing on his property. Let's see. They shouldn't have to pay. They get it all for free. Even if they drop out, I'm not worried about it. I wouldn't worry about it at all because they'll know some things that they'll save lives with. Nurses, okay, this is how that would work. So who's going to pay for all that? Well, kind of nobody, because the doctors would just have to know that you can't live as lavish as like current doctors, but like all your meals are free. Every cup of coffee you want is free. Every bed you want is free. Every sheet you want is free. Everything that you walk into a store to a certain amount, obviously, would be free. Nurses, 50%, same thing. Because maybe there's a way to like make the percentage match the amount of money that could be given towards that. If there's enough cap on capitalism and things like that, we can move some things around. But nurses, nurses are needed. But if they're going up in their field, free. If they're like stagnate, I will see what the money situation looks like, because if they're providing health, and you can't do anything without a nurse, so it should technically be at 100%. And doctors actually, they don't do too much, but they got the knowledge, and that's what counts, because they did all the paperwork and papers, and that takes a lot of work, a lot of dedication, and that's how you know they know what they know, because it takes the dedication to like adhere to that specifically, to do that like that, to be that at such a high level, especially with like dissertations and things like that. So, um, also, overhead plus 5%. So you can start a pharmacy that manufactures every single medication, right? That charges overhead plus 5%. So you pay all the employees, pay the light bill, pay everything. Everybody's paid. Nobody's getting greedy. Everybody gets their fair share, and it's public what everybody gets paid. And if the public has a problem with it, if the workers have a problem with it, if two people working there have a problem with the whoever at the top is making whatever, somebody should be looking into it. The public, definitely. And it wouldn't take but a handful of them. It doesn't have to be like unanimous or anything. It's just like, hey, maybe that's a little bit too much money. Okay, cool. So with overhead plus 5% is what's going to be charged for medications. And all that 5%, or, it could be more than that. But so overhead plus 5% cures is used for finding cures for those illnesses. So because medications, they're always going to roll off the shelves, right? So you'll only charge whatever it costs to make, overhead and all, whatever, because they don't really just go bad like that, where you just make so many that you can't get rid of them or whatever. Are people going to end up doing them? As long as your hands are to yourself, I don't care what you do. Keep your hands to yourself. I don't care. I don't care. It's you. If you and this was left out. That should have been in there. Not only are your hands to yourself, the objects in your hands stay to themselves. You don't throw them. They aren't able to release something that reaches out and touches somebody else. There's no. Even if you accidentally drop something and hit somebody else, that is the same as you just hitting them outright. Like, that's how serious the adherence would be. Because it's serious. You are your own bubble, they are their own bubble. You ever seen two bubbles collide? Either one don't make it, or they end up becoming one bubble, and then it's indistinguishable. But yeah, so doctors, nurses get things for free because their schooling's free. So we don't pay for health care. We don't pay for their services because everything they got is free. They don't pay for anything. Like, imagine that. Imagine somebody told you in school, it's like, if you became this type of doctor or whatever, it's like, whatever you wanted would be free. You just go in there and, you just swipe your badge or whatever, and maybe they just double check your face or what have you, and then they know it's you, and it's like, yep, free. Please don't, like, if they're doctors at this rate, I'm sure they would be cognizant of how they can go here and maybe not there, and like spread it around a little bit. Don't always get the coffee from here. Don't go always trying to get like the best of the best of the best of the best. It's like, you're about saving lives and helping people for positivity and positive things. So it's like, do that like that and don't take from them, and then and also with transparency, like when I'm talking about this place that has these medications, transparency, updated every week, has to be every week, at least every week, the very least. If anything goes over a week, I would want to say investigation, but that might take, nope, investigation. I don't care if it takes too much time. I don't care if it takes 10 years to get it done, and it pushes all the other ones back. Thorough investigation every week, all receipts. If one's missing, everybody's going to get a fair share taken away from them. Accountability. Only accountability, and everyone's held accountable, because it's not a company, it's a public service. Let's see, for mental health, everything is mental health. Everything involves your brain. To be in action, it has to be a thought first. So, sit up straight and back. So, make sure this is still on. Yeah, that's good. All right, so There's a need for more psychologists and psychiatrists. Behavior is everything. Positive behavior causes less trauma and leads to less abuse of persons and/or drugs. So there's less victims and less trauma from victims, and less trauma is less victims. So it's a vicious cycle that can be nipped in the bud. Nip it anywhere, and there will be no more buds. So, um, so we do need more psychiatrists and psychologists, and they as well would be getting things for free, unless I guess you went into a paid field. I'm not sure how that would work. I didn't work out the math on that. I just know that there should be a certain level of all. There should be okay. All children in high school should high school, middle school, primary school, preschool, and kindergarten should be going to a therapist at least once in a however often that would need to happen, per the mental health specialist, whatever they would say, but they would need to build a rapport. There would need to be certain amounts of them, um, making sure that from the beginning things are okay within the children and things like that, so they don't grow up resenting things or what have you, things that cause other things, and then it just gets bad from there, right? So, yeah. All right. So, and if, because at that rate, well, still, even today, there are people that need mental help, but they don't get it, and it's like, I don't know, is there a way to sponsor more people to help with? So we would need free information from textbooks. People would need to actually know it. Then there would have to be. You could have a board of certifiers that are therapists, where normal people, could get a slip of certification, or a temporary notice of certification, for minor things. So that way, it's like a cop out. It's like, hey, this is a little bit above my degree here, and then so I'll have to refer that to. I would definitely have to. Let me just call him real quick. I'll get him on the phone. And uh, they would definitely speak with. They would at least have to have like 5, 6, 7 other mental health professionals above that he could call to make sure to get through to one. Call one phone, goes to all of them. Whoever picks up, picks up. So that way, there's always someone on the other line. So that way, it's not like, well, they didn't answer, and so no, no, no. Someone always answers. Someone always answers. I don't care what happens. Even if it's me, I'd answer. Um, but I'd have to have the certification, so we'll see. Um, but mental health is everything. So anyone who, oh, less on your taxes. So the more you learn about psychology and stuff like that, if you can get these certain types of certifications, let's just say, it's kind of like going to a vocational school. So if you like get some if you get CPR accredited, tax cut. If you get anything, any type of certification that's by any type of board of certifiers that exists as an entity or whatever, that's like appointed by professionals or whatever, but then needs to be like reviewed by the people, like the goings on, the speakings of, and like the open talkings about, because you can't have somebody there on a board that is not kosher, that doesn't support positivity and positive things. It just doesn't really help. And so if it's helping people, it's helping people. If it's not, because of bias or something like that, that can't exist. And especially, it's mental health is everything. You got to make sure people have good mental health, because your brain is what causes you to have the ability to act on thoughts. So let's see. Yeah, so get a certification, get tax cuts. So especially with the mental health one, you get some certification for teaching those things. Not that you're certified like good mentally. I'm talking about just a certification to understand those things mentally, and how to voice them, how someone else should voice them, how to coach someone through it, how to talk someone through it, how to all these things. That certification will get you a damn good tax cut. As far as I'm concerned, hell, at that rate, if I had to, I'd cover some of your taxes. Shit, if I could, I would definitely cover any and all of your taxes. But it would have to be substantial enough to where it actually helps others. Oh, like if you're a therapist and you didn't have to pay taxes for anything because you didn't pay for anything because you don't. have to have a need for anything or a want for anything because you can have everything because you're doing everything that we need to have it all. And by all, I mean a positive future, uh, or at least a chance for it. Because if the chance exists, it's up there somewhere, or down the road. I mean. Okay, so jail reform. Ooh, yeah. Okay, so yeah, already the best. So this is the mental health being improved by the incentives of substances. DA being firm with the public defender, make the best better jail reform. So instead of wearing an ankle monitor, if you're willing to wear like a GoPro, I would let you out of jail faster. But I don't know if you can institute actually wearing that on your head all the time. But some type of a mechanism has to exist somehow that could be possible. Like if an ankle monitor can get you that far, how much could a GoPro 360-degree view, bird's eye, get you? Shit, no time. I could live with that. Depends on what it was for. Any priors? No. Automatic. I don't mind. For any crime. Let the panel of 12 decide. Because not only should you judge someone, you should be sentencing them. Because you have to live with it as well. There needs to be a certain type of bias if you're judging someone. Because you need to take into account that that's their life as well. And if you don't have value for their life, then you don't value the decision you're about to make. And then, I don't know, maybe just go get a random snippet out of their life one day, just like 5, 10 minutes at a time. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what you did, and then it just cuts off at random, and it's like, shit, or not. This is what you did. It's like, how do you? I don't know. Situation dictates obviously, and that obviously needs to be up to a mental health professional because the amount of time I would have to spend on that, and I want to get through this list here to make sure that my, nothing cuts off here and it's all at least in one spot because I had like found this two times. I had found this two times. Uh, I wrote this once, but I've had to didn't have to find it because I kind of already always know where it's at, but it's like physically in paper form. But having to like go search where that actual existence of it is, it's like I know what it looks like when I look at it. It's like around these things like this, and it's like gotta have the right angle, and then it becomes a thing. Basic rights: life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, food, water, medicine, privacy. I don't know how you get charged for food and water. Like food, I mean like a vitamin. Like vitamins should be like free. Like water, cisterns, 100% agree, legal, across the board. Wait, needs to be there needs to be some give back. Needs to be a trough set far off for whatever amount of water you get and save and keep. There needs to be an equal that you don't touch for nature that's accessible by all nature, even the critters. So that way it's fair. That way it's fair. Um, you're in charge of washing and keeping it kempt. If it's not, or if it's good to go, that's some tax exempt. Yeah, that's good. And then if it's not good to go, you better get in there and scrub it. Come down there and help you do it. Gun laws. Okay, so I actually didn't make anything for this yet. Full this video without account. Oh, if so I actually have to do away with it. It says derogatory terms spoken to another person. If you get a full, make a full list of what those things would be, and then you videotape it. Those people could be held accountable for whatever reason, and they have to pay you a stipend or something like that. But then it's like anything you say to somebody shouldn't. You can say whatever the hell you want to anybody. I don't care because you can't turn your ears off for a good reason because that's the way we're made biologically. They keep the one thing that keeps you alive more than anything is your ears. Native Americans, reparations, half of all reparations. Their land was stolen. We killed their lineage. They deserve one community per state. Uh, slash Per state, like land or uh, what do you call that place? Like the King's Corner. Be like the King's Corner. Call it the King's Corner. It's not a reservation. It's not reserved for them. No, it's like the King's Corner. It's like we don't get to go in there because it's the King's Corner. Because to be as humble as that for that long and not really say anything about it, that's King's Corner. Because that's how people should be. It's like heart of a warrior and determination, like in the eye of a jaguar, but humble about it because that's just the way life should be. And per state and per capita, like that needs to definitely need to like drive that number of miles up that they deserve. Like I'm talking about, at this rate, it's going to end up being King's half. But we're not going to go with how I feel. We're going to go with what's cognitively the the longer and having of longevity of each other. And when it comes to the choice between, let's see, taxes. Aha, ooh, yes. So that $94 billion that was made by Apple, some of those taxes would be going to the government, which would be used to plant fruit trees. Every time a child is born, you are given one birth voucher, a tax cut, and for planting that tree, it's a birth voucher for a tree that bears fruit. That go pick up, give the voucher, good to go. It's on the government. You get a tax cut because you planted the tree for that year. So really, any year you plant fruit trees up to any number of fruit trees will get you that much tax reduction and or overpayment up to everything we have in our coffers for that year. And that goes for anybody and everybody. Uh, See, so because starvation is getting worse and worse. How can there be kids who are hungry in schools, and the schools are said to feed them, but then in the yards of those kids are no trees with no fruit, no bees. If we don't have bees, we don't have needs, we don't have shit because we'd all be gone. So, food is necessary. Let's see. Track record. Don't trend. Town trend. New generations, new ideas. There needs to be transparency in the amount of taxes that are given to the government. If there is, I would say not for like the first like 2 or 3 years. Nope. We would need some type of transparency that's not. Well, you know what? There has to be a Or because you would have to verify them, and they would have to be verified receipts by somebody, so somebody would have to see them. So who gets to see them? Because if everybody sees them, at this rate, there just needs to be transparency in the taxes gotten and the taxes spent and where, why. Not really. I don't care why. What did you spend and where? The why is like up for me to decide. Did you go to the place that's called something it shouldn't be, or did you go to the place that is something that it is and it's called that because it is that? That would just make sense. Because if you're in a position to be responsible for someone's money, especially their taxes, you definitely can't be just, I don't know, go eating at some steakhouse and it's like, how'd you spend $1,000 at a steakhouse? Oh, I had a good steak. Why didn't you just go to Dollar Tree and get you a couple of noodles? You know what I mean? So I may bring that up. If I remember that by the end of this, I'm bringing it up. Let's see. Because of the current track record with the government, it's on a downward trend that we're like our worth and stuff like that. I'm gonna get some drink. Hold on. Give me a second. Sorry, jump up. I know we did scare you. I've been waiting to I've been waiting to discuss this list for a while. Sorry to put a cup of water in my nose. Oh, that's so much better. Shit. All right. Let's see what we got here. Okay. 1814. Oh. The more we talk about the fact that child slavery and the sex trade with children in it as well as adults exists, the more that there are in existence chances for it to exist in the news. So talk it up into the news. The news shows it to the politicians. The politicians see it and realize that, and the government sees it, that something needs to be done about it. And so we have 27 million. There are 27 million, 27 million, 27 million trained combat professionals with tanks, drones, spies, and satellites, and everything else at their disposal, as well as tons of money from all countries. All 193 of them, two of them aren't technically countries like that, but all 195 of them have militants on them and can help. We're adults. We need to get rid of the. We need to get rid of it. We need to just save the kids. I don't. The other. I don't care who's doing it. I don't care if you even see who's doing it. Save the kids. Get the kids out of there. Take them home. Call a doctor. Somebody check out their head or whatever. Just give them their life back. Make sure they're all okay. Let's do that. Let's get that done. Bring it up to somebody. Say it to somebody else. Every 2 minutes, one child is sold into slavery. If you don't talk about it, then you're the ones who are helping it happen. It's like, did that person just put that kid in that car? Like that? No, that can't be. I'll just keep on walking. No, fuck that. Stop. They start running? Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, man. I really don't know how to say this in a good way, but if you carry a concealed handgun, you're well trained, I would hope. I don't know what the class is like. Well trained enough to make a very informed decision in an instance like that. Technically, if I got shot for doing something like that and I wouldn't do anything wrong, that'd be fine by me. Shot, dead, killed, be fine with it. Because it shouldn't have looked like anything anyway. You know what I'm saying? Even if I was just like in a rush to get to the house, I should have said something, addressed it. Because you never know who's holding. You know what I'm saying? Like that's public security. People with concealed handguns. Because the crazy thing is, in the Western days, people didn't just get shot like that. It's just like, yeah, people got irate and stuff, but you gotta imagine, everybody's always drunk, and they still had less fights than sober people do today's times. Sober people today are like at each other's throats. They were drunk as a skunk back in the day and still wouldn't pull a gun. Madder than hell. Got made a fool of. And just bite their lip, grit, and bear. Because ain't nobody trying to die. They'd already seen it. You only see it so many times. You're like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to see that. So you don't draw, and you don't want to do it drunk because then you know you're at a disadvantage because you drunk. So yeah, a lot of carousing. Yeah, a lot of responsibilities. Yeah, both at the same time. Definitely. Is that what was happening? It was. What about now? Yeah, it kind of went by the wayside because there ain't nothing on your wayside. Ain't nobody else wearing nothing on their wayside, so you feel like you can just pull it out whenever you like because you carry one and didn't tell nobody or something or whatever. That's not cool. But if everybody got one, well, if you pull that, how do you know if anybody else has one? Exactly. You don't fuck around and find out? Because if everybody got one, who's loyal to who? Shit, in this day and age, you'd be a fool to ask. To the kids. Everybody's faithful to the kids. Everybody saves the kids. Everybody knows that the kids' lives are worth it. That's the future. It's not their fault. They're kids. How would they know any better? How would they know? They don't know. We as adults need to talk it into the news. Every 2 minutes, one child is sold. Every time you don't say something, every time you talk to somebody, then nothing's happening. And as long as nothing happens, something's happening. You're just sleeping at night, knowing it exists. At least bring it up once a day if you don't do anything about it. Shit, just something. Drip. Oh, it feels so good to. Sorry. Alright, so Native Americans, taxes. Sorry. Indigenous people, cities, lands. Man, I wish we could get like a find out what it would be that we could call in the indigenes. I don't know. There's got to be a cool word. I don't know. Public service announcements could help our country by not being owned by others who can leave. Got all that money, just up and leave, and leave us here. You know, after taking all our money and stuff like that. Because for us, leaving ain't possible like it is for them. But they got all the money, so public service announcements need to address who those people are, where they are, what companies they own, what sister companies are to those, cousin companies, startup companies being bought out by them and stuff like that. You know, the works. Like, what's best for the country? Somebody's got to know. There's a smart person out there who could do the math on that real quick. Free knowledge from textbook info. If it's in a textbook and it's true and correct, it needs to be, the author gets compensated for up to a certain amount, and then it gets online for free for the whole world. I don't care. Access our servers. That'd be okay. Or we'll get you some and copy it all over there. That'd be okay. Because you can't own that intellect, that knowledge. It just exists like that. That it happens like that. That it works like that. And didn't nobody create nothing here, except for God. So, or the Big Bang. But then if you think about it, with all the things existent in the singularity, and all the things existent in the cosmos, but you just need what's in your head for it to fire off like it does, imagine what was in that singularity all at one point that decided to what? Make all this? Thank you, God. So, that's how we get smart people with better ideas. And then, so, the smarter the people are, whenever the children are born, and then they get the minds about them to learn things, they're already going to know the things that these people know up here, but they're down here got all those years to just keep on growing and growing and grow. Uh, Transparencies from agencies who are allotted government money, like those who fix the roads. So we're not just fixing roads off on the side because you feel like you don't want to lose that funding next time. If you don't need it, you don't need it. Find out you're using it, you don't need it. Shame on you. Let's see. Yeah, just don't be taking it from those who need it. That's it's kind of abusive to the taxpayers, and you're a taxpayer, so it's like abusing yourself. It's weird. Let's see. School for doctors. Oh, okay, yeah. School system should be allowed. Any school system should be allowed anybody from anywhere, no matter how far away. School to school. More money for teachers is needed because that's our future, and really anything that they get as far as school supplies and things for the children, I don't care where they get it from. It's automatically free. I don't care how much it costs. It's automatically free. If it's I don't know, if you're a teacher like that and if you can justify that to yourself, then I don't care what it is. Hell, I'll foot the bill. I write you a check. I got a. I don't know. I think I might have a couple I got $50. Um. Okay, so they're leading our future, and so by speaking about our future being those kids, they have behaviors that can be reinforced. Like if Einstein came up and said to his mother, "I want to be a physicist," and she said, "You know what? That's awesome. Come with me and get some ice cream." He's like, "What's ice cream?" Like, well, you'll see. She gives him one bite of ice cream, and he's like, "Hmm." And then what happens? The brain starts to form a habit based around the behavior that got that ice cream rewarded because of her positive words about it, the ice cream, that new information. The brain's like, I want this, 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 I want this. And so the firing back and forth of that melting of the ice cream, keeping that channel open, strengthens those neural pathways. Andrew Huberman teaches at Stanford, has 2 PhDs. He is a neurobiologist. He's a neurobiologist and a something. And anyways, behavior reinforcement as well as behavior modification as well as behavior when you try to get rid of the behavior, whatever that's called, like breaking habits. It's supported by the fact that the habit is the most commonly traveled neural pathway, and that neural pathway is strengthened, widened, broadened, more frequently known to exist there from wherever you're at in your brain. It's you kind of know where it is the more you use it. So even if you're way over there, you know where it is. If you're way over there, you know where it is. You know, it's like having that good sense of direction back toward it, right? So that's why it ends up being such a strong habit that you need to break, that you identify it as a habit and everything else not as a habit, considering most all behaviors are habitual. So think about that. How you get in the car is habitual. How you put your shoes on is habitual. How you start up your car is habitual. How you put on your makeup is habitual. The order in which you do all these things is habitual because that's the way you done it, and you don't want to do it any way else because there is no guarantee that it won't deprive you of dopamine. Sometimes it's not about getting a dopamine release, but it's about traveling some pathway that's common so that way you don't get recessive amounts of dopamine. So definitely look into that. But so if you were to do that, and this was Einstein, right? Little kid, ice cream. So everything he did that had to do with physics or what have you is given ice cream is supporting that. So then when he becomes a teenager, before he's developed any bad habits, he's got good habits. So then what does he want to do? He's like, hey Einstein, you want to come out here and come drinking with us? No, not really. I want to go. I don't even know what he would say, to be honest with you. That would probably be one of the coolest things to hear. And so then he would have these positive habits. So those neural pathways would be like, no, I ain't going to do that. I don't know what that's about. I hear it's bad from, parents or such or whatever. And he's like, no, I'm going to go do what he knows rewards the dopamine, right? So it's physics related. So then that's him as a teenager, not wanting to develop bad habits or any other habits because he's already found something that releases the positive chemical in the brain. So then from there, by the time he graduates high school and gets into college, he's already on his way to becoming that once he graduates, Einstein, like Einstein's idol, like if Einstein could have been the Einstein to an Einstein, he would have been that with that behavior reinforcement, like Einstein to the second power. Einstein equals times 2 of him square. He would have been getting there twice as fast. So, and firefighters, anything, ballerinas, dog walkers. You'd be the best at it. You know everything about it, and it would be ingrained in you in such a way that it would be like everything you eat and breathe and sleep next to, on, by. Yeah. So cures for illness. There needs to be transparency in who, where, what studies are being done, like who's doing this, where they're being done at, what studies are being done, what they're actually finding out. Complete transparency about, all of that, updated frequently, weekly. I mean, what's learned needs to be on there, even if it's nothing. It needs to be on there. We need somebody watching those cameras. It needs to be up every, and they need to be held accountable while we stave a world planet left to save. Oh, well, we still have. I put stave. Still have. It needs to be held accountable. Everybody needs to be held accountable in that accord. That are those who are curing those illnesses or looking for the cures for those illnesses, and in all illnesses and sicknesses and any and all things that can be. They're not illnesses. They're not shortcomings. They are intricacies that could easily benefit from. Not sure how to say that. That's how I want it to be. That we don't even know what to call them because they don't exist. That's how much accountability there needs to be. Because we do still need to save a world, planet that we have left to save. While we can still save it, because time's always running out. So I guess I'll just put this in there because it's already here. How Jesus fed 5,000 people. So at one point in time, little Timmy comes up and Timmy has some fish in his pocket and a carrot or something like that, or some bread or something, and he tells little Timmy run along. Jesus talked to his disciple. He says something to him, and then he's like, "Oh, you still don't have any faith? Didn't you see last time I fed all these people?" Da, da, da. And he's like, "Well, yeah, but..." And then so you're out in the desert 3 days with Jesus following behind him. You already know you're in the desert. You got to take your food with you. Don't want nobody breaking inside. If you don't take it with you and you get caught way out, if you don't eat, you're gonna pass out and you're gonna die. So then you have to imagine that when they stop and eat, everybody's got food. And what's Jesus preach? Give freely. If everybody gave freely, it would be like waves in the ocean. You know what I'm saying? It'd be like that. But if you take and you take and you take, you end up like mountains and then recesses where it's like that. You know? And so somebody has too much, somebody ain't got enough. And people die while other people live. And it could be backwards, but it needs to be like this. So as soon as you take from one spot, immediately some rushes in to fulfill the wanting or the wanton needs of the negative amount available in the sea. So yeah, it needs to be more like waters in the ocean, not mountains on the land, when it comes to giving freely, which is exactly how you feed that many people. So it's everybody's got food. They're going to be out there for 3 days. Jesus says, "Give freely, and there will be more than enough." So what do? They all pitched in their food in the basket, took as much as they could stand to eat, because you got Bob up here and Sarah's back there, and he's like, "Dang, I can't believe I lost her right before we sat down to eat. Dang, I'm the one that got the food, but I need to know she's got enough to eat." So he takes a little less, and then somebody takes a little more, and somebody takes just enough. By the time it gets to the end, they got 12 baskets, like a boatload of trucks, filled with food and fish and all kinds of stuff, because literally that would work. And you know all you gotta do is thank God for logic, because Jesus says it's not meat to feed the, or it's not, it ain't cool to feed the dogs the children's bread, is it? And she's like, well, even the dogs eat the crumbs. And he's like, that's faith. That's logic. That's faith. You thinking. You thinking. That's the kingdom of God up in your head. You got to have since you're a child. And use it. And that's where God exists. Because the only thing that could house God without God, like wrecking the place, would be an imagination, right? It's like God would make a place exist inside of us, inside of our imaginations, that God could exist in. So that way, while God is with us, we don't get destroyed by the fact that God is with us, in us at all times. Yep. All right, so immigration, let them over. I don't care. Let them over. Let them over, let them over, let them over. Eventually, they'll all be here. Ain't nobody going to be over there. Then you figure it out from there. Or maybe they'll want to go back. Or maybe they'll just extend the border out themselves. You know, like they'll come over here, things will calm down, then they'll start to slowly move and push the border, or get across the border, and then just know that they can always come back here whenever they want. So then, essentially, our borders get broader, their fear lessens. If they ever need help with their next door neighbor, they can come over, and we got them. And yeah, they'll they're somebody's kids. They're somebody's kids. I don't care who you are. You're somebody's kid. Your mama would not be proud of me if I let anything bad happen to you. And it don't matter who you are. Your mama wouldn't be proud of me if I let something bad happen to you. So I shouldn't sit here and let it. It don't make sense. I don't care about no taxes. I don't care about nothing. You could help me walk these dogs or something. Shit, I don't know. Just get over here and just, as long as I know that I can sleep at night knowing that, somebody's not going to die because somebody else got it in their head that they might need to because they something or money or whatever. Or hell no. Crazy bad stuff happens and it shouldn't. But at this rate, maybe we can make a deal with the cartels that, hey, cut all that shit out and, pay fair wages or whatever, and we'll, you manufacture and we'll buy, and we'll get everybody's mind right. Mental health wise. Not trying to be a wise ass. Yes, it was. Immigration for all those wanting citizenship. If it comes down to it, we need less people working at like McDonald's and more people working at solar panel manufacturing companies as well as solar panel installation companies. So that way, eventually, we won't pay for electricity. Metropendulum. So, is that perpetual? Almost definitely. Almost definitely. Yeah. If you have a metronome and a pendulum, so you have a pendulum shaped like a capital D on its side, and it's going to swing back and forth, right? You have top left, top right. Okay, so it's at the top right position, and you have a metronome on top, right? And so it's gonna be swinging all the way down. And you got the arm of the metronome like this. It reaches a 0 G moment where it's gonna start going the other way, and the arm happens to go this way. So then the weight is offset, and then 0 G moment goes back the other way. And it's always offset, taking advantage of 0 G. However, the pendulum would have to have an arm at the top like this, so it's curved, and it would be around like a whatever thing that keeps it in stasis. And so when it rocks, it goes like this. It's like it does this weird thing like this. So it doesn't. There's no friction lost because the friction is what keeps it held in place so it doesn't slip. But then it just rolls back and forth, and yeah. But with the offset of that weight, the 0 G moment, and with everything and all things considered, metropendulum. And then, so let's see, police reform, accountability. No cam, no job. Malfeasance equals felony. CCTV, more cameras, less crime. So can see AI tracks. Can see AI track. Felony. Can see 3 AI track. Oh, so AI would track the criminals. It would be able to see them any and any place that they go. So if you were ever to commit a crime with enough CCTV around and satellites, like you got Elon Musk letting them free in the atmosphere with Wi-Fi and stuff, so why not put some cameras on them damn things and have them pointing everywhere. So that way, if you ever robbed a bank or committed a or heinous crime or someone's found buried in the ground or whatever that wasn't supposed to be there and it ended up being human remains or something, we would know who you are, where you went, how long it's been there, why it's there, who it came from, who it was, and where you should be right about that moment that we'd be kicking in the door. So that way everybody stays safe. You know, give up a little bit of comfortability and be comfortable enough to have your door unlocked forever, wide open, because there would, yeah, there's no hating me, so I like having my door like unlocked and stuff. I like leaving my keys in my car, my phone in my car and stuff. Yeah, when it comes to money, throw money and change on the ground as soon as I walk out of the store. If it's changed, throw it on the ground. As soon as you open the door, make people feel good when they walk outside. If it's like you got a couple dollars and you got like five in your pocket, well, just crumble one up, throw it over there, crumble one up, throw it over there. Because why not? Feels good to find a dollar. So, yeah, just, yeah, I like that. I like that. Oh, tithes, Tithes. 10% of all food manufactured needs to go right back to nature. It needs to be put in some types of spots or every so often, so that way they are able to eat from the production of those places we have taken from them as their homes and their fields, I'll say, where they eat and forage. We have cleared and tilled the land to make a very productive source for food. 10% of that goes back to nature, evenly for however how much land there is taken. These cornfields around here take up so much room. They really do. They really do. Compared to how many rabbits would be living there, how many skunks, how many raccoons, how many birds, falcons, owls, coyotes, even an otter. See an otter every once in a while. They can swim and they're funny. All right, so as far as it pertains to jail and race, so jail and race, these things are jail amplifies the fact of someone's pigmentation is different from another person's. It's my brother's idea. So we need to reform racism by combating it within our prison systems. There's because of the because of the social injustices that my brother has experienced, he realized that there are bigger problems and issues, and so he identified that there is slavery and involuntary servitude existent within our judicial system as well as our I guess that's part of the judicial system, the incarceration of inmates, citizens, individuals, and so whenever you end up in prison or jail, you have to deal with a lot of politics, pretty much, that are essentially you're at the hand of the guards and the warden and those who feel like they're having a good day or bad day at work, who are going to do or don't allow some things, while others who work there do or don't allow some things, while the warden does or does not allow what everything. And so then you end up congregating with race because there are certain things that are more easily done, trying to stay low, keep low. And so the commonality when it comes down to how many differences there are in pigmentation, it ends up being with race instead of like gender or hair color. So what we can do is we can line up communities with a pattern. We'll take every single person. We'll take account of all of them, all of us, all of them, all of them. Yeah, I don't want to live in a community. So all the houses that currently exist, awesome. So we're gonna put them in a line sequence that's pretty fair in placement of like where you live now as opposed to where you will live. Because if you live in a mansion, you should probably live in the ghetto for a little bit or the projects or something like that. Make you feel good. It'd be fair. It would definitely level you out, give you something to think about. And so the communities with the pattern will be per pigmentation or uh, it'll be for religious beliefs. No, not religious beliefs. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't think we can do that. Well, yeah. It would further be defined as, religious beliefs, but then so many people of certain colors would be so often. So it'd be like red, yellow, green, orange, blue, purple. Look at that shirt that has all them kids around it holding hands. And, you know, I never thought that I would do and or say anything that involved that shirt and it actually makes sense. It's like, why the hell? You could literally just place everybody in the houses that currently exist. Be like, hey, you're moving across the country. Hey, you're not. Hey, you're staying. Hey, you're not. Hey, you're going. And then by the time we end up at the end, it's like every time you look down the street, somebody's a different color. Make you feel good about it because it needs to be like that. Because then all your kids are just going to be like running around like a bunch of paintbrushes, just with different paint. You know, that's good. We need to be. We are diverse. We are the paints of the stars. We are the palette that is going to be up and out there. So we need to be different, or else it's going to get really boring really fast. How's it supposed to be fun if it can't last? So we got to get along, and so the best way to do that is the future will automatically accept it. Kids will automatically accept difference in color and beliefs and stuff. They don't mind. The parents, not so much, but if they keep their mouth shut long enough, then the kids will be the untainted source of all that is holy with nature and the fact that within the mind of a human being exists enough to just let it be. And so, let's see, communities of power. That leads to more respect. This is one I really like. So you would need, we also need leaders of the same color because if we're being represented by anyone, like I'm talking about, if we got a president, we got like 7 presidents. Like I want an Asian president, I want a black president, I want a white president, I want an orange president, I want a green president, I want a red president, and I want an indigenous, an indigenous people. Do you think they would mind? Or maybe I could. That's not a bad idea. If the indigenous, if those who were indigenous to these lands were put back in charge, somehow still today in today's times they hold more true to their culture of being passive and cognizant of all things nature-wise than anybody I know, even me. With ease too, like it's in their blood. That's so funny. You call it King's Corner, and then them then they could just they don't want to have to do this. Then they could be in charge because I wouldn't trust anybody except for them. I don't even know them like that, but I would trust them because there's just something that's just if you're willing to wear a headdress, war paint, and real garb from how you know your people to have, been in today's age, like you look like you stand out in a costume or something, but you're really just, you have honor, that is somebody who deserves being in charge of a place like this. Because I'm new to all this. They've been doing all that since before it came all this. Definitely have to figure that one out. I'm not sure I'll leave it up to their tribe leaders. And whatever they come up with is what I would do for sure. Because that's the ones you can always trust. Even if you can't, you can because you kind of have to. Because They don't lead you astray. You just feel like they are. There's a reason they're the leaders of the whole tribe. Tell me one spot in history wherever or where the leaders of the tribe said something, then someone went against it, and that person who went against it caused trouble for the whole tribe. Every time somebody goes against tribe leaders, that's probably how all this happened. I'm actually damn sure it was said, "Do not trust those white men," and then white men were trusted, and I would hand it right back over to them for respect and just. I would hate to represent them because I would hate to feel as though I never. How do you say that? I don't represent them; they represent us. They're like the dwindling of the mustard seed that is the faith of the that nature can exist harmoniously with man because they've been doing it so long, and it was like they were never here. Yet we get here and shit, it ain't even take 100 years. But they would know what to do. They would know what to do. But they would have to have the ability to do so in its utmost. Like they would have to be given essentially the country to make that decision. But I would at that rate because, if they're the tribe leaders, like what's the worst that could happen? Well, I wouldn't mind if it did. It'd be merited even if they did come back the other way around with it and just make us eat our own words. That'd be fine. I'd be happy knowing that their ancestors are smiling. All right, so uh, I guess I'll just finish this out just so at least it's all there. Let's see. So having leaders are the same. Uh, let's see, the respects you. So where the art, the painting, the color wheel, uh, the community, uh, or let's see, that come from the community. The community elects. So there's like an elect that are. So you have the ones that lead, that do all the decisions. Like you have a state representative or whatever in Congress. But they get voted into that seat from a table of those different colored leaders. So if even they elect that person, so it's like we elect 7, 8, 9, 10 people. We got black guy, white guy. She got good hair. He got bad hair, but he's got badass tattoos. Whatever it takes for us to feel represented in that seat on the Senate or the House of Representatives, whatever. That's the only reference I have. And then they in themselves vote one to take that seat. But that's who's accountable? Well, all of them. So it's not just like, oh yeah, we got this white guy George, or like this black guy George that takes this seat and and is in charge of Florida or something. No, it's like there's a committee. It's a whole group, and then they are all so different, but they all get it like together, and then they put someone to represent them because they feel as though they represent them best. And so who's to blame? They're all of us. Whoever voted the committee in that then voted the person in. They're all the way down to us, the voters. But could you just blame one person and try to hold it against them? No, because you'd have Republicans, Democrats, all kinds of weird. You'd have a whole amalgamation at this table, and then they vote one up there. So, but that person's just carrying on their ideas to be that voice of the whole table. So then that way there's no. That way it's even equal respect. So Black George and White George, it's like, we'll get them next time. But you say that to both of them instead of it just being one race, and you find a reason to not like them because something happened you didn't like, and they're different than you in one way. So yes, yeah. This is like talking about. Oh, the color you are is the color your pigments cannot absorb. The color that you are not, or everything else, yeah, everything else is absorbed inside of you. Okay, so if I'm light, that means I reflect that color, so I absorb every other thing. And then if I'm dark, then that means I bounce that off, and within is every other thing. So technically, blacks are white and whites are blacks. Metro pendulum, like on the inside, on the outside, whatever. Because the pigments aren't technically that color; they just reflect that color. The light's that color. It's just, uh, but one has more of that in it than the other. So technically, I'm a brother, and every black guy's white on the inside. Um, but yeah, we're the as far as art is concerned, we are the painting, the 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 art and paintings. So we're the color wheel, like the color hues. It says art, painting, color wheel, color hues. Who or hue? It doesn't actually say that part. Human. So it's like we're the color hues that are the color, like the paints for the color hues that are humans. We're supposed to be different colors. It's indicative in the name. So this one says government reform. Committee. Oh, committee before Congress of all races and cultures. Um, that people can vote out, and I mean any time. People can vote them out at any time, any public office, any public seat, any public bus driver. I don't care. Vote it out at any time. A replacement is found whenever they vote one back in on their time. Whoever voted them out, they could already have a replacement, or the vice versa. It doesn't matter. Just always up to the people. Things that need to change because the people say so. That's But then if you got good leaders, the people will make their voice known, and the leaders will let the people know their voice is heard. Um, let's see, have to get. Oh, okay, yeah. And so every year you have to get together with the other committees and stuff like that, like a big cookout. Like I'm talking about burgers and beers, at least no, if nothing else, beers and wine coolers or whatever, because you need to take a little bit of the edge off. That's the one benefit I would tell Andrew Huberman there is in alcohol. If you're in government and you wear a different title than someone else, some alcohol could lower what inhibits you from hearing that person, and it could change your mind in such a way it never would have changed otherwise. So, and that could help so many people. But one burger, one beer, and y'all are just relaxed enough to realize you're both wearing the same shirt of different colors. Like literally, they both have the same Maui flowers on it, and you didn't realize for hours because you weren't recognizing them. You were just seeing them as opposition, and they had the same shirt on as you. It's crazy. Let's see. Term limits. Ooh, president gets two 4-year terms, max. So the Congress representatives and stuff should get no more than that as well, because generation gaps exist. You can't just have generation after generation after generation be born and the same person be holding that seat. We need to yeah. Okay, so genders. When it comes to gender, like and or being gay, cool. It's a name.
call yourself whatever. It's a name. If I call myself Timothy or Ace or Fasten Tight or Drywall or Fine Thread Drywall Screw Phosphate Coated Fastened Drywall to 25 to 20 gauge metal studded, not recommended for exterior 8 by 2.5 number 2 Phillips Hillman square box with phone on it looking at you. If I could keep going, but however I identify is like, it's just a name. So just don't trip. Uh, you should give everybody the chance to have a nickname that they make, that others make, and that maybe they had no choice, but it just sticks. Not trying to be a wise ass. All right, so legally should be allowed to change and add to identification. Hey, I'll legally change your name. Psh, you can change your name at any time. I don't even know why you have to petition for that. Because your face is your. Oh, I don't even know why it says your name on there. You ain't got to tell nobody your damn name. Shit, because your identification is your face. Unless your face changes, then shit, who the hell are you? Uh, oh, and add to identification one like Hugh. One like Hugh is always allowed, not yet not required. One like Hugh is always allowed, yet not required. Oh, so any human is allowed to, but they're not required to, put on their identification any type of identification, whether it pertains to gender or sexual preference or how you want to identify, or if you just want a cool name or whatever. Sky's the limit technically, because that name section stops as soon as it runs off the edge of your driver's license or ID card, and then that's when you can stop being creative. Other than that, your face is your identification. That's pretty darn clear. And you put your thumbprint down on the dang thing, so come on now. Don't matter what your name is. Like, we're not trying to, let's mix it up. Like, I don't care. Change your name every year. That'd be some cool shit. Because they're using your thumbprint. They don't need your name and your date of birth and your prior number. It stays the same. It's just all this extra paperwork. It's so stupid. But when it comes to getting a driver's license for a car, that shit needs to be like more strict or something. I don't know. Drive slower. Stay home. Everybody, just stay home. Take a day off. Just yeah. So that's that. I'm gonna go ahead and get, but do know that if you had 99 sheep and found one, you would rejoice over it more than the 99 that you had that never went astray. So it is not the will of my Father who is in heaven that one of these little ones should perish. Closest reference I have to the little ones I'm talking about shouldn't perish. Don't say hoo hoo. Be no wise ass.